Both crew chiefs step away. It's time to award the first Camping World Wally here in Dallas, Texas in the Nitro Funny Car category. They leave within a single thousandth of a second as they go down the racetrack. It's Jack Beckman, 3.908, like a bracket car. That machine repeating within 5/1000ths of a second of itself. 328 miles an hour. Matt Hagan slows to a 394 at 324. And Tony, where did Matt Hagan lose the performance here?
Jack, you're an NHRA champion. You've won 33 professional Wallies, picked up your first one here. When you think back over your tenure as a funny car driver, what's been the highlight for you?
Everything. I mean, meeting the legends of the sport, getting to race against people like John Force. It's bitter for our team, but we've changed a lot of veterans' lives. Had a lot of wonderful times here, and maybe we'll find something. Maybe we'll be back next year. But thank you to all the fans. I'd like to do this again.
2020 was the last time we saw Jack Beckman race in the NHRA Funny Car class. After winning 3 races at Pomona for the Winter Nationals to kick off the 2020 season, winning the 2020 U.S. Nationals, which was the second U.S. National win since his win back in 2015, and winning the Fall Nationals at Dallas, Jack Beckman would finish third in funny car points. But after 2020, Jack Beckman would not return to Don Schumacher Racing after his sponsors, Infinity Hero, will leave him in a team after being around in the sport since 2013, and Don Schumacher Racing would also downsize due to the economy and a reduction of races, losing a lot of drivers. After Jack Beckman was let go after winning 33 races and winning the 2012 NHRA Funny Car Championship for Don Schumacher Racing, he would continue to focus on his elevator repair job for Schindler Elevator. It was there ever since. In February of 2024, Jack Beckman would be on the booth with Ralph Shaheen for the Pro Superstar Shootout on FloRacing at Bradenton. However, that would change.
Up to Cup Bluey. John Force just blew the thing up and slammed into the wall at the top end of the racetrack.
Racing at the NHRA Virginia Nationals at Dinwiddie Motorsports Park. The biggest name in the sport, John Force, was taken to a local hospital when he suffered a serious accident after his first round race win. His engine exploded at the finish line after a run of over 300 miles per hour. Then the car crossed the center line, which struck both guard walls before it was engulfed by flames. Force was able to climb out of the car before it caught fire and was taken to the hospital for further evaluation. The 75-year-old is currently second in the funny car standings.
On June 23rd, 2024, on the first round of Funny Car at Richmond, John Force, who was racing against Terry Haddock and was second in points behind teammate Austin Prock coming into Richmond, would suffer a big engine explosion, would lose control and get into the left lane wall hard, going airborne and suffer another hard hit on the right lane wall, suffering a traumatic brain injury. Thankfully, surviving the accident and continues to improve his recovery. Over a month later after the accident, on July 30th, Jack Beckman, who hasn't raced since the 2020 NHRA season finale in Las Vegas, would replace John Force for the rest of the season, helping John score points. Beckman would first hit the track at Summit Motorsports Park for a test pass before the 47th annual Night Under Fire took place. Now, it was on to Brainerd. On his return to the NHRA, Jack Beckman was starting in the 6th position, racing against Bobby Bode III on the first round of Funny Car Finals. Beckman would beat Bode to advance on the second round with a time of 3.88 and a speed of 322.88 miles per hour. Unfortunately for Jack, Blake Alexander would beat Jack Beckman with a 3.94 and a speed of 317.05 miles per hour, while Jack Beckman would also clock in the time of 3.94 and a speed of 321.65 miles per hour. At the 2024 U.S. Nationals, Jack Beckman was starting third. He would advance into round 2 after defeating Dale Creasy Jr. on the first round. In round 2, Jack Beckman would defeat Cruz Pedregon with a time of 3.80 and a speed of 330.15 miles per hour. Unfortunately, Jack Beckman would be defeated by Ron Capps on the third round. In Maple Grove, Jack Beckman would once again start in third, defeating Joe Morrison on the first round, defeating J.R. Todd on the second round, and Alexis DeJoria on the semifinals after both drivers were pedal festing. But on the final round, Jack's teammate Austin Prock would win the Pep Boys NHRA Nationals by 0.62. In the Carolina Nationals, Jack Beckman would once again start in third. Beckman would defeat Buddy Hull in round 1, defeating Daniel Wilkinson in round 2, but he would once again race against teammate Austin Prock for the semifinals. Once again, Austin Prock would defeat Jack Beckman to advance into the final round. Since the return, Jack Beckman has shown he can still have a shot to win a race after a 4-year absence. He has been close to win the race, But the next race was at Gateway for the Midwest Nationals. Jack Beckman was starting fourth. Jack Beckman would defeat J.R. Todd in round 1, defeat Daniel Wilkerson in round 2, finally defeating Austin Prock in the semifinals, and now Jack Beckman is at the finals against Ron Capps.
Can Ron Capps get back into the winner's circle for the first time since Indy last year? Beckman's hanging into this one, and at the finish line, it's Beckman. For the first time since the 2020 season, he has won a funny car drag race. 385.6 beats a 388.
Jack, 4 years ago, you thought this journey as an NHRA funny car driver could be coming to a close. 4 years later, you were holding a Wally, and as a lover of history of this sport, this will be recorded as your win, but points for John Force. I want you to grab that trophy.
So this is John's trophy.
How symbolic is that?
Well, he'll tell me to take it home, but I got to thank John. I got to thank Robert Height for the confidence they had in me. All the sponsors. When Robert called me, he said, listen, here's the deal. If you want to do it, I still got to check all the boxes off. And they called Peak, and they went to Chevy, and everybody said, yeah, we're willing to let him get in there. They took a chance on me. And that group of guys right there on the Peak SS Camaro, they're the baddest in the country today, and we are going to savor this. It feels great to be back. Hey, Jack.
For the first time since Dallas 2020, Fast Jack was back in victory lane with a time of 3.856 and a speed of 315.86 miles per hour, which would make him and John Force 105 points behind championship leader and teammate Austin Prock. After the ups of winning at Gateway, there would unfortunately be downs for Jack Beckman at Dallas. Jack Beckman would have to sit out and withdraw from the Texas Fall Nationals due to his vertigo-like symptoms. According to Bob McAleer, a spokesperson for John Force Racing, McAleer said that Jack was fine after leaving the track the night before the race, but woke up on race day with vertigo-like symptoms. Beckman was advised from the NHRA medical professionals to withdraw from competition. Thankfully, Jack Beckman would return to the second Las Vegas race, starting in second, defeating Jeff Hill in round 1, defeating Ron Capps in round 2, but Paul Lee would defeat Jack Beckman for the semifinals. The Pomona season finale would be a special weekend. Not only Austin Prock clinched the championship and became the first driver in NHRA to reach 340 plus miles per hour with a breaking record speed of 341.68 on the first round of the NHRA finals in the funny car class at Pomona. Not only this was Jack Beckman's final race for John Force Racing in 2024. John Force would return to the track for the first time since a bad crash at Richmond back in June. As for Jack's final race with John Force Racing of the season, Jack Beckman would start in third. Jack Beckman would defeat Terry Haddock in round 1, defeating Blake Alexander in round 2, defeated Ron Capps in the semifinals, but on the final round of the final race of the 2024 season, Jack Beckman would race against newly crowned funny car champion Austin Prock.
A match race-like moment under the lights here in Pomona. Prock had to pedal it. Jack Beckman's going to win the finals. Beckman goes 381.2. Epic run, 327 miles an hour. What a way to close this out. That is more points for John Force. Force goes into the record as the #2 finisher this season.
Thank you.
You're going to see the John Force Racing team behind us all hugging, and Jack Beckman pointed at them and said, this is what it is all for. Jack, you were hired with almost an impossible task, and you were the guy that was called on to race this out for John Force. 2 wins during this tenure for yourself. One final message for John Force. He's at the starting line. What would you say?
If you ask about 2025, John, the answer is yes. Just amazing. I've sprained my ankle like an idiot, jumped off the Suburban after the first qualifying run. Of course, the throttle foot. A lot of ice, a lot of ibuprofen, and you have a job to do. And these are the guys. Peak made it happen, Chevy made it happen, Cornwell Tools made it happen, but these sets of hands, these minds, these attitudes made it happen. And John, for having the trust in me to do this, he gave me a pep talk before the final. Pretty sure we didn't need a pep talk going against Austin Prock and company. If you haven't been following drag racing, they had a pretty decent year. But for everybody on the car, on the fire suit, in our hearts, it's awesome. We're back.
For the second time in 2024 and 35th time in his career, Jack Beckman would win the NHRA Pomona Finals with a 3.812 and a speed of 327.35 miles per hour, defeating the 2024 Funny Car champion Austin Prock. Jack Beckman would help John Force finish second in points, 166 points behind Austin Prock in the final standings for the 2024 NHRA season in the Funny Car class. On December 13, 2024, during the 2024 Performance Racing Industry Trade Show, Jack Beckman would reveal that he would race in John Force's car for the 2025 season. As for John Force, there are unknown plans for John Force to see what's he going to do, whether he's going to return to the cockpit or he's going to retire as of the making of this episode. I'm really grateful to see Jack Beckman return to the driver's seat for the first time since 2020. Beckman has more chances to win more races, and he's still got it in him. So I do expect Beckman to be in contention for some races, but let's see how it goes. Fast Jack, he's still got it. So that's going to do it for another episode of Racing Stories. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Ian the Motorsports Man signing off. Goodbye, everybody.